What is going on, everybody? I hope that you're having a fantastic week so far and you're enjoying your Friday this morning. This is MYG Jeffy T 3285, and I'm here with a roster update on the New York Giants. So, we all know that the New York Giants right now are getting ready and preparing for their second preseason game this coming Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. But one of the alarming things that have been happening with the Giants so far, as they've been dealing with a lot of injuries, including a lot of injuries towards their offensive line, namely towards the offensive guard position and especially the offensive center position. The New York Giants are going to be going through their sixth center currently right now, as Max Garcia is currently right now projected to be the starting center for the second preseason game against the Cincinnati Bengals due to the amount of injuries that the Giants are right now facing this practice. As right now we all know about the injury that Shane Lemieux suffered in the first preseason game against New England last week when he left the game due to a foot injury, which was first described as a toe injury, and we're not sure when his return is. The Giants are still hopeful that Shane Lemieux can return at the beginning of the season, but he's out right now. Ben Bredeson actually had to leave practice yesterday due to an elbow injury, and we're not sure how long he's going to be out. Joshua Azudu and John Feliciano have also been dealing with some injuries recently, so they've been in and out of the lineup. So the New York Giants right now are hurting in terms of trying to find themselves a capable center to be able to go in there and help command the center of the offensive line and be that center figure going forward for them. So today the New York Giants made a couple of moves on the offensive line as they have brought back Josh Rivas, the offensive lineman undrafted free agent from Kansas State, who they actually released earlier in the week when they had to make their roster cuts down to 85. So they're bringing him back to bring them some offensive line depth, and there's no doubt he's probably going to be playing a good amount this coming Sunday. As well as the New York Giants also signed offensive center slash guard Chris Owens, who was a former center at Alabama last year for the Crimson Tide, and he's going to come in here and try to provide some offensive line depth for the New York Giants going forward. So the New York Giants right now, they're looking like a complete mess in terms of their depth on the offensive line, and you have to hope that guys like Shane Lemieux, John Feliciano, Joshua Azudu, and Ben Bredeson injuries are not going to be long term, and that these guys are going to be able to return to the field in the near future. Because if the Giants have to go forward with these guys not on the field, and some of them had to miss an extended period of time due to injury, it's not going to be a help for the offensive line, especially when you're trying to build that continuity with this group going forward. So the New York Giants had brought back Josh Rivas, who they did release earlier in the week, due to the fact that they had to cut down their roster to 85, as well as they've signed offensive lineman Chris Owens, who is a former Alabama Crimson Tide and who was actually part of the Pittsburgh Steelers when they signed him as an undrafted free agent back in May this year after the NFL draft. So reinforcements are here. We're going to have to see how Josh Rivas and Chris Owens are going to perform in preseason. And if these guys are just here right now as camp bodies, or if these guys could potentially have a second chance and maybe see if they can impress the coaching staff, including Bobby Johnson and Brian Dable, and see if these guys can maybe win out a reserve role in terms of the offensive linemen going forward. But right now, the offensive line, especially at the guard and the center position, not named Mark Lewinsky, is right now a little bit of a work in progress as they've been dealing a whole lot of injuries right now in the beginning and middle of training camp. And we just have to hope that guys like Shane Lemieux, Ben Bredeson, John Feliciano, and Joshua Azudu will be able to come back just in time for week one, or if they have to miss any time during the season, it's just minimal, and it may be just a game or two during the beginning of the regular season. So that's just my Giants roster update as of now. The New York Giants have brought back offensive guard slash offensive center Josh Rivas, the former Kansas City State offensive lineman who was an undrafted free agent the Giants signed right after the draft, as well as they signed offensive lineman Chris Owens, who is a former Alabama Crimson Tide and who last played with the Pittsburgh Steelers during training camp, but he was released a couple of days ago when they had to make their roster cuts down to 85. So second chance for these guys. We'll have to see how they do. But a couple of offensive lineman moves today while the Giants are dealing with a lot of injuries to their offensive line currently. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button below if you're enjoying the content. Subscribe if you haven't already to NYG Jeffy T 3285 for more breaking news updates and chatter surrounding the New York Giants, New York Mets, Brooklyn Nets, WWE wrestling as well as food for thought. Turn on the bell for notifications on when the next video or short's going to drop surrounding the New York Giants. And let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the latest injuries surrounding the offensive line, including the offensive guard and offensive center position, and the fact that the Giants are right now going on their 6th offensive center so far in training camp, which is something you obviously don't want going right now, getting closer and closer to the season. And let me know what you think about the acquisitions of Chris Owens and the return of Josh Rivas, to see what they're going to be able to do and maybe be able to show enough where they could possibly win a backup offensive line spot going forward, or if these guys are just here as camp bodies going forward for the rest of training camp and preseason for the New York Giants. So I thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take it easy, and let's see what the New York Giants are going to be able to bring to the table, not only on today's training camp practice, but as we head into the second preseason game this Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, and hopefully no more injuries along the offensive line or the team in general. And let's see what Chris Owens and Josh Rivas can bring to the table for the New York Giants this coming Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's go, New York Giants. Together blue always.